The show is really awesome. We're coming straight from Austin. Let's talk sports.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Sports. I'm Dan Hurwitz.
And I'm Samir Butcher. It's November. It's No Shave November. I'm observing the holiday. Dan's not. But Texas is observing a little holiday called No Win November. Or No Win September.
All season
for that matter. So in honor of that, we've come up with a list of things that Texas needs to do to turn next year around. All right, let's hear it, Dan. Number 10.
Number 10, drum roll please. Play Rice in Wyoming every game.
Yeah, that seems like it's a strong point of the Texas schedule every season.
It seems not too long ago, Texas was 2-0 and the 7th-ranked team in the nation after beating those two teams. Why not, Maybe they can get into the Rice's conference or something like that.
Good times, good times. Number 9, petition the NCAA to make field goals worth 10 points. Texas kicks a lot of field goals. I feel like if those were worth 10 points, easy wins for the Longhorns.
Or maybe they just get Justin Tucker, the kicker, in a wig and put him out on the women's soccer team. Maybe they can,
use them as well.
Texas can do, better in another sport.
Right, great. Number 8.
Number 8, start the Daily Texan flag football team.
Dan, you had a season-high 3 receptions.
Yeah, we didn't play too well this year. Head coach Chris Tavares, just didn't push us enough during the regular season. We couldn't make it to the postseason. I think we have what it takes to maybe walk on to the team next year and do something for the Longhorn football.
Well, number 7, ask Garrett Gilbert and Malcolm Williams to become best friends and roommates, and then subsequently have all the commentators talk about how they're best friends and roommates, and maybe that'll spark some sort of wide receiver quarterback connection. What do you think?
It's worked 4 years ago with Colt McCoy and Jordan Shipley. Maybe they can get them back to return. So. Number 6, stop spoiling them.
It's hard to comment on that because we, as fans, we spoil them.
They're spoiled, driving around in their sports cars and walking around with their all their high tech equipment.
They're just so cool.
I'm jealous.
Number 5, cheat.
Working for Cam Newton in Auburn right now.
Who cares? Let's try it.
Number 4, actually look at the scouting report.
Yeah, that happened during the Kansas State game. That's something crazy.
Kansas State, I believe, was the last ranked rushing defense in the country at the time, and yet the Longhorns chose to pass the ball every single week. This week, Florida Atlantic has a similar type of balance. I think a very strong pass defense and a weak rushing defense. So it'll be interesting to see, what the game plan is if they even bother, looking at what their opponents are doing.
Yep, we're getting to the top of the list now. Number 3, I think the third thing that they can do, or the third best thing that they can do to turn their season around next year, is to turn the field sideways and maybe have them play what is the width of the field now, because that seems to be where most of the plays they throw go.
Yeah, well, if Garrett Gilbert was, he'd be the leading passer in the country probably if, you took into account, throwing it sideways, horizontal yards,
yeah.
But unfortunately they don't.
Number
2. Be as excited to play their opponents as their opponents are to play Texas. That may sound a little complicated coming out of my mouth, but in other words, every team when they play Texas, it's the Super Bowl for them. It's their biggest game of the year.
Right. Iowa State came here, Baylor came here. They were so pumped to play the Longhorns, and it paid off. You could see the Longhorns sort of just meandering by while the Baylor Bears were pumped every play and shoving it down their throats, really.
For Texas, they could probably care less about playing Florida Atlantic this weekend, but Florida Atlantic, this is their best chance. It would probably be the greatest moment in their school history.
And the number 1 thing Texas can do to turn their season around next year, drum roll please, Vince Young. That's it for Let's Talk Sports.
I'm Dan Hurwitz.
I'm Samir Butcher.
See you next time.